this is Ruth. Thank you for tuning into this week's video, and it's great to have you here. So I want to talk this week about kind of like how me and other women I know, how challenging it can be to find your place and your space in the world, to express who you really are, to express all the different parts of yourselves and accept those parts, and really how challenging that can be, and some tips that have helped me kind of get better at that and be able to express more of who I am. And I've seen many other women who inspire me to be able to every day step out there and be my authentic self as much as possible out in the world. And I think this really started to hit a nerve with me quite a few years ago, maybe like 4 years ago, and I'd listened to some of the work of Brené Brown, and she specifically talked about a pattern in women that is very much around sort of staying pretty and staying small in order to be accepted. So we all see this play out in society, you know, women are under so much pressure to remain thin, women are under so much pressure to meet these often impossible standards of beauty, to be deemed as being a woman, being a proper woman. And I think that it's like this dangling carrot where we can often feel like we can never attain it, but it's always there, kind of like taunting us and making us feel like if we decide that we don't want to do that, then we're not going to be accepted in society, or we're going to be constantly reminded that we're not doing what society has told us to do. And I felt like this because it was becoming a real frustration for me that I was struggling to find women out there in the mainstream and women's voices, that I felt like women were really being authentic and genuine and living as their true selves. So obviously, like 4 years ago, a lot has happened in 4 years, and I'll touch on it later in the video, but luckily there are so many more female role models that I have found that have really, really helped me to step into my own gifts and my own power and find my own space to make these videos and express who I am. So I'm going to touch on a few tips and a few different inspirational people later on in the video that have helped me a lot, may help you as well. But just to kind of go back a little bit, so I was listening to basically Phoebe Waller Bridge, who does Fleabag and Killing Eve. She's phenomenal, and for me she's one of the main people who I really respect and I'm inspired by in terms of really speaking up about things that are very difficult for women to express. And she was on Saturday Night Live recently and she did a monologue, and she was saying that basically, like, looking back in history, if we think about the way that women have been oppressed and still are being oppressed in different parts of the world, it's kind of amazing to think that those things actually happen. So for example, the example she gave was the idea that, you know, she just recently won an Emmy, and Fleabag is all about this kind of like sexually promiscuous, bit of a fucked up woman in her 30s living in London. And she basically said that now she's been given an Emmy for writing that and starring in that. So what women would have once been burned at the stake for, now we're winning Emmys for being sexually open, expressive, creative forces in the world. And if we go not that far back in history, women were literally being burned at the stake and vilified, and women are still experiencing that kind of oppression in the world today as I'm recording this video. So women are being burned at the stake, being stoned, you know, stoned to death. These things still happen. And the fact that we do have some progression in the sense that people like Phoebe Waller Bridge are winning Emmys for creating shows like Fleabag that empower other women to feel like they can be honest about their sexual preferences, about their lifestyle choices, and we don't have to feel ashamed for that, because there are people that are brave like her who are willing to create content that allows us to feel like we can be ourselves and we can show some of the sides of ourselves that maybe have been oppressed in the past. So she is definitely one of the people that inspired me to do this video, really. Watching her do that monologue and talk about that has been, yeah, really a catalyst for me to make this video, because as I say, it's something that I've really struggled with, to be able to step out and talk about things that I feel are important to me, and to be able to show that full rainbow of expressions. So we aren't just one thing, like we aren't just the caretakers, and we aren't just the nice people who will do the kind of the maternal role and be that kind of caregiver and that loving, supporting person, which are those traditional feminine qualities, which are amazing, and I'm so glad that I've got them and other women in my life have got them. But there are also these other sides to us, and like we want to succeed in our careers and do really well at work, and we can be really passionate about that. Or it may be that we're really passionate about expressing our sensual, sexual side and being able to be open about who we are in that sense, without having to play this role that, oh, men are more sexual than women, and men have these urges and these kind of socially accepted patterns of behaviour, but women don't. And people like Wednesday Martin, another amazing woman who does a great podcast with Whitney Miller, I'll post links to all this below, she's really debunking that in her book Untrue, and showing women that the way that we feel about sex, careers, what we want out of life, and the fact that we want more than this kind of vanilla image that has been sold to the world of women. Like, she's saying, no, it's okay to feel the way that you feel, and it's okay to want more and to share that and not feel shame. Because I think that what happens a lot of the time with me and other women is that we can feel a lot of shame and difficulty in expressing who we are and stepping into that power. Because, I've done a video on this previously, is we can often feel like we're staying pretty, we're staying small, we don't want to risk it like as much as men. This pattern plays out in the workforce around, women going for a promotion or a new position. We feel like we have to have everything perfected and we have to be able to tick off every box on the job description list before we'll go for it. Whereas men are much more like, oh, I'll give it a go and I'll work out how to do that. And they have this kind of built-in confidence through the way that they've been treated in society, that actually they can do it. And women, we just haven't, maybe in my experience, been given that kind of confidence in ourselves. So it's great to see now how much that's changing and how many positive role models there are for women in the workplace, and as I say, in terms of sexuality and all of these different subjects where women are coming to the forefront and really being able to express themselves more, which is really exciting and empowering. And as I say, I've been on my own journey with this in the last 4 years, and learning how to step into that and not apologise for who I am and how I want to live my life and what I believe in and what my needs and what my desires are, and expressing that without shame and without saying, I'm sorry for taking up space, I'm sorry that I feel this way. It's kind of like learning how to stop apologising is one of the key things that I think is really challenging. And one of the main ways that has really helped me with that is a couple of things that I'm going to share now, which is really finding your tribes. And when I say tribes, I mean like you don't have to just have one tribe, and you can have many tribes, and they can be people that you know, they can be people that you admire, they can be people you have real life face-to-face connections with, they can be podcasts you listen to, they can be famous people that you admire. So I have found some really good tribes of women and men who have helped me to step more into my power. So I would encourage you, if this is something that you want to work on, is to really look at maybe getting a big sheet of paper out or getting your notepad out and being like, okay, who have I got in my life that really can help me on this journey and support me? So like I have split this up and I've got it written down here. So I've got like different kinds of tribes. So I've got my friends and family connections, so like women friends that are amazing, women in my family and men in my family and men in my friend circle who I have that face-to-face connection with and those real strong bonds with that inspire me and make me feel like they don't shame me, they let me be who I want to be, and I try and spend as much time with them as possible. Then I've got like a spiritual tribe, which is made up of people that I met through yoga, meditation, yoga teachers, and just people in general in that sphere that really inspire me and make me feel like I can be powerful and I can do more with my life, and I can take the lessons that I learn on the mat and put that into my real life experience. So I've got that kind of tribe. And then I've got my kind of podcasts and books and people in that sphere that I listen to, and a lot of them are men who make me feel like they really have such a deep respect for women, and they have done the work to understand how women are not that different to men, and are, you know, especially people like Ryan, Aubrey Marcus, Joe Rogan, who really have this deep respect and realness about like women don't think about things that differently to men, and you know, we have the same needs and we have the same desires and all of the science behind that. So also Wednesday Martin, Whitney Miller, I'm going to post links to all of these below, and just having that kind of like, you know, you're having a bit of a wobble, and I know that I can tune into those podcasts, I can tune into some of their YouTube videos, and I'll just get that kick of inspiration that I need to believe in myself and know that I have just the same kind of like needs and wants and stuff going on in my brain that all women do, and all of us, including men, often do as well. So they're kind of like another tribe of people that really help me. And then I've also got lots of female comedians who really like the female comedians is a big one for me, because people like Nikki Glaser, Whitney Cummings, Amy Schumer, like they have Phoebe Waller Bridge, they give me like the boost that I need every week when I tune into these women. I follow them on social media, like they are fearless and they don't give a shit what anyone thinks about their kind of sexuality. Like they all focus on sexuality and not being ashamed of that. And that's something that I have really, really worked on a lot. Like I had a lot of shame from past relationships and like younger years and stuff, and just society in general like doesn't support women to be open about their sexuality. So these women, these comedians, are total pioneers and real trailblazers that I absolutely love. So building up those tribes of people, like as I say, those real life connections, face-to-face connections, the people that you choose to follow on social media, the people that you choose to watch online and watch on the TV, like being mindful of what you're surrounding yourself with in this sphere. And then another thing that's really helped me, which I'll just share with you now, is if I can grab it, is creating a vision board. So like I've got my vision board here, and creating a vision board where you can really put on there like what kind of woman do I want to be and what kind of woman am I, and using like visual references, words, creating this kind of like empowered picture of who you want to be. Like that's what I've got on my vision board, really, is just like this empowered picture of what I want my life to look like, my career, my sexuality, my whole social life, my travel, adventure, things that I want to do. And it's amazing the power of this. And if you put the vision board somewhere where you see it every day, and maybe like you have it somewhere, like I see mine when I wake up every morning. Sorry, just did a little bit there. So I have it somewhere where I see it every morning, I see it every night before I go to bed, and it really reminds me that I can be a powerful woman. And I sound like that tape, Rachel of Friends, I know, the one that Chandler listens to, "You're a strong, confident woman." But, you know, it's cheesy, but it's true. Like having this makes me feel empowered. It reminds me to be brave and to really embody and help other women, because I know that like me being the strongest, most open version of myself and talking about things that are taboo and do rock the boat is something that can really help other women to feel empowered. And that's some of the nicest feedback that I've got on doing these videos, is that me doing this is helping other women. Like not because I'm telling them what to do or I want to do it to help people, because I mainly do it just because it's fun and I want to try it out and talk about things. But it's great that it does help other people, and like I say, it's kind of like that, you know, passing the baton on and helping each other up the ladder. That like I look up to these phenomenal women who've got like millions of followers, and I might only have a couple of hundred followers, but you know, even if I'm helping one person, then that's incredible, and we're like lifting each other up. So definitely like finding your tribes, definitely creating a vision board, and understanding that like finding it hard to express yourself fully, to stop saying sorry, to stop feeling under so much pressure to be skinny and to look gorgeous all the time and always have like this like Love Island look that like everyone seems to be spending hours and hours to keep up and maintain. It's like, it's normal. We are under a lot of pressure to do those things. We're surrounded by them all the fucking time. So like, don't feel bad that you do feel pressured to do those things. I feel pressured to do those things. Like I went out the other week and like I don't think like I'm a made up kind of person, but equally like I wear makeup, I'll do my hair, I will make an effort. But I went to this place and it was literally like being on like 100 contestants from Love Island. Like everyone had like the fake boobs and the kind of like massive eyelashes and the fake tan, and I just felt ugly. I felt like an alien, as though I was some sort of like dated girl who like doesn't buy into all that, and that's what guys want. And I felt really, really bad about myself. And so even though I don't want to look like that, like I don't want to go and get a boob job, and I don't want to like look totally plastic and do like all this crazy contouring, but it still affects me because I think maybe I should be doing that. And like, am I gonna kind of be seen as ugly or unattractive if I don't do those things, even though those things don't really matter to me deep down? So you have to check yourself, and I have to constantly, you know, deal with that as well. So it's not always easy. And doing things like the vision board to remind me, and watching a couple of YouTube videos with some people that I really admire that cut through the bullshit, and having really strong female friends that I feel like I can open up to and talk to about my insecurities and my challenges and all those stuff really helps as well. And I hope that me talking about this on video has helped someone somewhere, some ladies and some guys. Like, I know that guys watch these videos as well, and you know, support women. Like, if you have women in your life and you want them to feel empowered, you know, some of the things like they might say or they might do might rock your boat and might not be what you associate with like how women should be, and I understand that can be challenging, but we are entitled to express ourselves, and so just like men are as well. So it's about us supporting each other, so women supporting women, men supporting men, women supporting men, men supporting women, and I think that's the way forward for us all. So hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know like what's helped you to feel empowered as a woman or as a man supporting women in this way, and love to see that in the comments below. Hope you enjoyed it. I'll be back next Tuesday with another video. All right, bye.